All right. We are here. Thank you, thank you. All right, so you born and raised in Illinois?
I was born and raised in Illinois, yes.
Okay, what part?
The Des Plaines area, northwestern suburbs.
Des Plaines. Okay, okay. I think about the Des Plaines. They got some
So,
good restaurants at Des Plaines.
Oh, they have really good ones.
oh, that's good. Hey, everyone, we live, right?
Yes, yes. Hello,
Hey,
hello, hello.
everybody.
Yes, this is a special. We have a special live today. You know, usually we do it on Fridays and Sundays. But we got a little Gen Zer in the house. We got a little Gen Zer in the house. Her name is Nellie.
Yes, Nelly.
Yes, Nellie. And you live in the northern suburbs. And there is an immigration crisis out there too, an illegal immigration crisis as far as gangs.
Mm-hmm.
Gangs.
So you all know what's happening. We know that Trump is deporting the illegal aliens. He's starting with the criminals. That's what's happening now, and we see that the Democrat Party is fighting him tooth and nail about deporting even the criminals, just the criminals for now, deporting the criminals. So this is a very interesting because everything that we have been talking about, everything that we have been screaming and saying to you all, this is the we're gonna have. This is an important story. So I'm very excited as well, Nelly, to have you here.
Yes. So yesterday, our president of the United States, he signed an executive order called "Protecting American Communities from Criminal Aliens." And basically working on getting these sanctuary cities to cooperate with the federal law, which for some reason they do not want to. And then he signed another executive order yesterday letting the law enforcement do their job, which is in Homeland Security. And I want to also say that I think the issue is because they look at President Donald Trump and Tom Homan or any other white man who is a Republican, automatically they hate all people of color. And they want to destroy, like they just basically want to take us back to medieval times. I mean, so instead of people not understanding that the reason why they're so aggressive in trying to get ICE into these sanctuary cities and states is because we voted for that majority of, and also a lot of Hispanics, Latino. I'm from New York, so I call say Latino. So a lot of people are like it's Hispanics, Latino, same thing. But anyway, just like black and Negro, same thing. Latinos and Hispanics came out and voted. They voted. Asians came out and voted. Alderman Leigh and in Chinatown here in her whole ward, it was red because this is not what, when people come from another country, this is not, you know, it's like sort of like an embarrassment. It's like I feel like it's like you have that one cousin, right? Everybody got that one cousin that you do not invite over, and then they come over and you're like, how the hell they come over here? That's exactly how this immigration thing just came. Like, it's like they picked the worst of the worst of the worst to come from these countries. And they have been just terrorizing in the name of sanctuary. And it makes everything look crazy to the point that it's gangs all over. I didn't even know that northern suburbs has shootouts until you, Nelly. Can you please elaborate?
I will definitely elaborate. Yes. So everything started when obviously, the just Illinois, the elections just started getting way more liberal, radical liberal in a sense, because there's definitely a difference in those ideologies. Yeah, there's just been shootouts. Actually, my dad's truck was hit, what was it, like 2 years ago? Um, there's always been just drive-bys. We find the shell casings when we walk out the door, along with just gang members just gathering in certain areas of parks, of just simply public places where kids usually play, and it's just getting insane. It's just getting insane.
So Nelly, has it always been that way, or did you notice it changing, or what? Uh, First of all, let's great thanks thanks
Well,
Arnie. Okay, so Nelly, can you just tell us your name and where you from and things like that? Can you just give us a little history?
of course, yes. So my name is Nelly. I just turned 25 years old.
Okay.
I've been living in this community ever since I was born, so for 25 years. And it's never been like this.
What community is that? Could you tell the audience what community this is?
Displays.
It's within the Des Plaines, Wheeling, Prospect Heights area.
Okay.
Prospect Heights, Illinois.
Yes.
Okay.
Prospect Heights is a little bit more affluent than Wheeling and Des Plaines, which is why we're taken by surprise that all of this is occurring. But like I said, we've been living here for 25 years. I actually lived in the rough side of the neighborhood. It was never like this. It was this. The gangs definitely respected kids being around, families being around. The culture within the gangs, I believe, also truly changed, and it's just sinister what's going on within the communities, specifically the suburbs, because just like you guys said, it's just very unexpected. The media doesn't report it. It's mostly always in Chicago, but I truly believe that the suburbs, we're getting ignored. The crime here is getting ignored. I believe it's all a numbers game. The least you report, the better it is for the community. But no, it's getting worse. It's definitely getting worse, especially during the summertime. And unfortunately, every year when the summer is about to approach, we do tell ourselves, all right, how is the crime going to be this year? And it's only getting worse.
Okay.
Question. Displays. That's near the O'Hare, right?
Near the O'Hare.
So there was a lot of migrants that were at the O'Hare sleeping. Did you see any of those around like your area? Like I know a lot of them were, like it was like hundreds of them sleeping at the O'Hare airport.
Yeah. So it was actually brought to our attention, I believe it was last year, within the executive airport. It's actually a private airport. It's near the Milwaukee area. And yeah, a lot of migrants were being housed there, and now it's actually being torn up. Within the community, we tried to go in there, but it was just very unsafe.
So did you notice that, I mean, when did you start noticing that you were seeing I call them illegal aliens because that's what the Constitution called them. So when did you start noticing, did you like all of a sudden start noticing that you illegal aliens, you start seeing them, or how did that come about? You noticing that, hold on.
Yeah. So as I stated previously, I actually lived in the rougher area of the neighborhood within the suburb that I live in. And there's just local stores that we usually frequent. They're just walking distance. Kids go run errands for their parents. And it was a very tight-knit community. We all knew each other. And the more that time just started passing by, and they started housing them, we definitely saw the difference within the people, simply the way they spoke, the way they just, delivered certain just etiquette, just public etiquette, simple
Mhm.
things like that, simple characteristics, and even those people that have been living within those communities notice the difference. Yeah,
So you see how your community knows the difference. So you can imagine how ours,
exactly. Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you
yeah.
in a predominantly like what's the
I'm in the
makeup of
predominant,
the okay
Hispanic community.
Mm.
okay
Yeah, and so it's
So,
very easy to pinpoint for sure.
oh
okay.
wow, yeah. See
Yeah.
how they. So did you okay? Well, Zoe always say that uh you all don't get along with like certain Hispanics don't get along with other Latinos or Hispanics. Is that true? Or do you is that an issue too?
Like the Venezuelans and the
Definitely,
Mexicans.
yes. Yeah, we do definitely notice that difference. Tension is always up in the air when we go to those local stores. Actually, just recently, well, not recently, it was a year ago, my sister went to go buy some ice cream, and some little kids just started shooting, and bullets went into the store. Yeah,
Mm.
so it's
In
little
in
things.
Des Plaines,
In Prospect Heights, this
in
incident,
Prospect Heights.
yes, in
And,
Prospect
and
Heights.
so, are you noticing graffiti? Did the gang symbols and things on your around your area and things like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that definitely has been a reoccurring issue, and people are always having to come in and wash those walls down.
So
So the
Trinidad Agua.
police. So
Oh,
what is the police like? Or do you go to your town hall meetings? Are like are your who's the mayor? If are you familiar with who your mayor is out there?
No, no, no.
Let me
I'm
see who
not
the
very,
mayor
no,
is.
I'm not too familiar, but definitely I've been going to the departments, to the police departments, and they simply tell me that their hands are tied. They can't really do much. They
see, just
can't
like
really do
Yeah,
much.
because it said executive order, and like I think so. And actually, Ronner did that. So Ronner was a Republican governor, but Ronner signed an executive order also that law enforcement could not work with ICE. So it's like I don't understand that part because okay, so your mayor is Andrew Gozieski.
Mhm.
And Mount Prospect is Paul Hofford and Arlington. So you're like around Arlington Heights, Schaumburg.
Correct.
Okay, and so yeah, they don't speak about. I know the only thing I know about the suburbs when it came to the illegal immigration. Last year, Mayor Brandon Johnson had called for it was like basically like a Zoom call with all the mayors to get the support from the suburban mayors because the influx of the illegals that were coming in. He was getting so much heat on down the city that he was calling on all the suburban mayors to come and basically help and get some, basically say, yeah, you can send some of the
Mhm.
illegals out here. And I remember this the Des Plaines mayor, he did push back, like hell no. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
and
Yes,
so
it
he
is.
did do that because it was a lot of robberies too. Because you're also Des Plaines is also where the Rivers Casino is.
Correct.
And the Rivers Casino was getting robbed. They was getting robbed almost like every week. People was getting robbed every week from illegals. Was
Mhm.
robbing them. So, but no one never like they would touch on the news like one day and then never touch on it
Yeah.
again. Then also when they moved all of the illegals from the airport, they said that everybody that all of them were housed and stuff. But you go back so I looked up the Red Roof Inn. So the Red Roof Inn, was that a shelter out there that
Yeah.
they were staying in?
No, no, no. So the Red Roof, it's actually been shut down, I believe, twice now. It's like in the Arlington Heights, Palatine area. The first time they simply undercovered, well, not simply because it's a big deal. a drug trafficking ring along with a human trafficking ring. This second time around, they actually found some Jane Does, and I believe one or two of them were Venezuelans or Colombians. They were illegal immigrants that just arrived to the country.
And this was, and that's at the Red Roof, right?
It's in the Red
I
Roof.
read that. Okay.
Yeah, the shelter where they were being housed was actually adjacent to the private executive airport in the Milwaukee Plaza. That's already been torn down. It was called the Ramadan Plaza.
The Ramadan Plaza.
Yeah, and it was literally right behind the private airport. So who knows what even happened there with that airport.
Now you said when you were talking about the Red Roof Inn, you were saying that they were prostitution and things like that.
From 2012. So the person who purchased the Red Roof Inn, his name is Parath Shah. His investment group, they acquired it 2012. But between 2012 and recently to January 2025, with a lady by the name of Ramona del Carmen de Ramirez, she was a resident of the hotel and was arrested for prostitution. It's a lot of aggravated assaults, battery charges. Somebody done stole an ex-employee stole the microwave because he didn't get paid. But they purchased it they purchased it for $2.5 million. And why I'm saying this is because what I'm learning that a lot of these hotels that are housing these illegals, and they do a mixture of some residents from the local, but then majority it is the illegals. They're all Indians that own these. That they all have these hospitality. So
we gotta look into that. See what's going on, because it's gotta be. Now, Nelly, you said okay, so you all they see, I believe that it's more like 70,000. It probably way more than that illegals here. And so you got to and that's what we were saying. They're not just going to stay in Chicago. So people, if y'all thinking they're just going to stay here in the city, no, they're going to the suburbs, and they're going out. They're spread out to Indiana. They're going to spread. So don't think it's just going to be contained here in Chicago, where we're just going to be dealing with the problem. Now, you already see that the media is trying to make people or put out a narrative like we're regretting our vote for Trump. And I know they really were saying that about the Latinos, Hispanics that voted for Trump. Now, could you talk, because if you all are dealing with this and you all have a problem with this, and you all came out in droves and voted for Trump, and now people, black people, act like they can't understand what's going on with us. Now, Nelly, could you tell us what was the we can't even, you all can't deal with the illegal alien problem. So are you regretting, or the people are y'all regretting voting for Trump and having him and wanting him to deal with this problem?
Well, actually, I was raised a Democrat. Both of my parents were Democrats since the time they arrived to this country. My mom luckily became a U.S. citizen. She voted, her first vote was for Trump. And this is the first time my dad actually voted for a Republican. His first casted for Barack Obama. And we're not regretting our vote. We are not regretting our vote. We actually embrace it. And no, we're definitely not holding back. Why? Because we need this problem solved. Yes, no, because our communities are the ones getting flooded. These migrants aren't going to affluent neighborhoods. These migrants are going to lower, to the lower economic threshold, which is the minority communities.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's the Black and Hispanic community. So yeah, we're the ones getting affected. We're receiving all these letters from the public school that they're actually decreasing the amount they can cover. And I always tell my people, just question yourself, who's making that amount of money? Who's making that amount of money? So we're definitely not regretting our vote. We're here for the long run.
Now,
Yes.
it's funny now, and it sort of makes sense to me because what we're dealing with in Chicago is Little Village and Pilsen, and the Back of Yards is majority Hispanic. I think Back of the Yards, though, with Lopez, they have pushed some illegals there. But in Pilsen and Little Village, the main ones who pushed those aldermen, and I don't know if they call them aldermen where you are, they might call you city council members there, but they pushed for the sanctuary city. They pushed for these, for the illegals to come, but they will not put them in their neighborhoods because, again, the Hispanic, the Mexicans, and the Venezuelans do not get along, and those type of the Latino Hispanic city council that are in city council where we are, they are the ones who are in on this whole illegal invasion Ponzi scheme. So they're making a lot of money off these shelters and stuff. So that is why the mayor called on the South Suburban mayors to see if they would take them on, because he already knew that it was not gonna, it would have been a bloodbath. It would have been shootings all day. It was to the point that national news would have been coming down here. And it would have made what because right now they're fighting the narrative that we're just hateful people, we're just mean people, we don't, but no, like, this is a crisis. Like, this is a criminal crisis. Like, they are literally running around doing whatever and not getting in trouble. And then when you have a president, the main reason why he won by a landslide and why he got the Latino vote, it was a big thing that they were very upset. They even tried to get mad. They even tried to say, like, oh, why would the Hispanics and the Latinos vote for him and he's going to deport them too, just like they said they're going to deport us too. Like these are the people who voted are actual citizens. You know what I'm saying? Like, they voted for him because they're actual citizens. Where are they going?
Yeah, and we're dealing with it. We're the ones dealing with the problem.
America, and they assimilated to our culture and our laws for a reason. If they wanted to not come here, there's plenty of people that still live in these countries that don't want to come here because they like everything there. Understand? And their families, a lot of their kids or even spouses and stuff will come here, do what they need to do, and will send money over there. Just, and eventually when they're retired, they can go back over there. My good friend Al, like my sound engineer, his family has a very big house in Mexico. They built the house after coming here, working, all that stuff, so he can go back to Mexico anytime. He has this beautiful house that they built, but his mom decided she wanted to come back to America because she just misses, she got used to, she was over here for 30, 40 years. So she got used to the culture. But the issue is you're dealing with a group of people that, and I'm pretty sure your parents understand that. That's why they voted for Republican the first time, because these are not moderate Democrats that's in office. These are criminals. These are people who are trying to push an agenda that's just not going to work, and it's a socialist agenda. And they think that younger people like yourself, that they think if they can keep telling you about the Palestinian fight against Israel and all these other things, the trans fight for the LGBTQ and fight for all this, while they secretly bring all these people over here while they're committing crimes and stuff, so they can push this socialist agenda. it's not going to work. And now, and because it's backfiring and everybody is starting to see it, they're paying the mainstream media so much money not to address the crime that's happening in Wheeling, that's not in Des Plaines, in Prospect Heights, and all those type of things. The police cannot do anything. No matter how many executive orders Donald Trump signs, they will come back and say that he's trying to deport everybody. As soon as this lady told me, there's a lady on MSNBC yesterday or 2 days ago, she said that if he's deporting kids with cancer, then he's going to deport people of color. Like, they just say anything at this rate.
And they be lying.
Yeah. And so, I want to say this about the child that was deported that had cancer. The fathers, there's total of 4 kids that were deported, 4 different children. The fathers are from America. None of them fathers. One father said he had paperwork, but none of the paperwork added up or anything like that. But they did not just deport these kids over there by themselves or anything like that. Like, the fathers had the chance to step up to take their children. And then once their mom and stuff got everything they need situated, once they got back there to come back, because the thing is, there are ways to come back over here. It's not like it's no, you can't come over here. I have plenty of friends who are married that and help their spouses get citizenship and do all of that stuff. But the fact that the narrative that's going around is that Trump has deported a 4-year-old with cancer just out there. Just put her out there. And it's like, nah. And then my thing is, what does cancer have to do with it? Because there's plenty of people over here in America that have cancer, and y'all have yet to find a cure. Y'all don't care about finding a cure. Y'all making plenty of money off of this cancer medicine and off these cancer treatments. Y'all don't care about finding a cure. So what is the purpose of the little girl staying here anyway?
That's just for the media to try to. They have nothing. The Democrats have nothing. Yeah. And that's just for the media to try to find anything, because they use emotions. They use your emotions, and they thrive, and they're in power because of your emotions. So that's why they threw the cancer and the kid. No, they're just going back to where they came from, where they were born, and they're going back to their country. That's it. Like, if I went to a country and they said, get your butt back to America, it's just like that. I'm coming back to my hometown. But Nelly, now can we talk about, okay, since we are on the on this far as deportation and how the Democrat Party is dying on that hill, the mask is off. We see that the Democrat Party is for illegal aliens, and therefore this invasion. So now that we see this, now Nelly, now let's talk about the judge. Now the judge that now first, you feel like giving just a little background on the judge, and then so we can get into the meat of what we getting ready to talk about. So who did you say the judge was again, so we can just get
Hannah Dugan?
Yeah, so the judge. So just a little bit. Okay, so the judge is, what's her name again?
Judge Dugan.
Judge Dugan.
Say that.
Yeah, I mean, I can briefly talk about, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, and then Nelly, you can just think of. Let's just talk about.
So the judge is Hannah Dugan.
Okay.
She was a sitting judge on the Milwaukee County Circuit Court. She was arrested by the FBI April 25th.
Thank you, Trump, because we asked for arrests to start being made. Thank you.
Yes. Her 2 main charges was obstructing a federal proceeding and concealing an individual to prevent arrest. On April 18th, Judge Dugan helped an undocumented immigrant, or as Danny says, illegal, Eduardo Flores-Ruiz, evade ICE agents who were waiting to detain him after his court appearance. She allegedly let him leave through a restricted area to avoid arrest. She went, oh my God, she was going hard.
Through the jury, okay? No one's allowed there.
No one's allowed there?
No, jury, definitely they cannot have any contact with anyone. So it's a very, very private area. But
So
continue.
so she risked all of that
She's been with
for.
all that. She risked her whole like job.
But that's the things. But you see how. So let me just say this. Let me just say this. You see why President Trump, while we're fighting, because we have these rogue liberal judges who are breaking the law. Trump is not breaking the law. He's doing everything we ask him, and he's following the law. These judges are rogue judges. They breaking the law to keep these illegals here. Ask yourself why. When have they ever went that hard where they for you in American citizens? Because y'all keep them with their money, y'all keep them in power, you all vote blue no matter who. When have they ever went this hard for you where they and willing to lose their jobs and everything for you, American citizens? I'm in the Democrat Party. Okay, so what was you saying, Zoe? And so we can let Nelly get into it.
So, despite all of that, all of she did, the arrest, her trying to help him leave out the back door, all that, I still arrested him. Okay, I still was able to get him at the courthouse. Now,
I think he was arrested outside of the courthouse because they were chasing the man.
They were chasing him.
They were chasing him.
You know how far?
I believe I was told a few blocks, if not a mile.
He like, I ain't going back.
Yeah, so what happened by Nelly? Okay, so Nelly, the Democrats are telling us these guys are outstanding citizens. They're telling us Trump, these people are not criminals. Trump just want to arrest everybody and take them all to El Salvador, those things. Who is now that we have, so in other words, you all, this has been in the media for a few days about this judge helping an illegal. Yeah, April the 18th, helping an illegal evade arrest from ICE. And she, broke the law, let him go out the back door and things like that. So, and she was arrested. And so now the media fake news crying and saying, they boo-hooing, why they can't crying, these liberals talking about Trump is arresting judges and he's trying to he's mad because these judges are not allowing him to be a dictator. And this is all this stuff they're pushing out here to us. Now, Nelly, could you tell us who was this person? Because the person who was the illegal alien who the judge was helping and things like that. This person personally. Could you now tell us who is this person and things like that? How you know him?
Yeah. So I don't know the person.
Oh, you said, I'm sorry.
But
Nelly.
Sorry.
Nelly. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry. What did you say?
Well, yeah, I wanted to finish.
Yeah. There's more to this.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So, the Wisconsin Supreme Court suspended her from her duties to protect, they suspended her, so she's no longer working right now. She hired Paul Clement. He's a high-profile conservative attorney and former U.S. Solicitor General. So that's kind of interesting that she hired this high-profile conservative attorney. Her next arraignment is court appearance to enter her plea is May 15th, 2025. But I want to get into Eduardo first, because I just got to explain to you who this. Yeah, so Eduardo Flores-Ruiz is a 30-year-old undocumented immigrant illegal from Mexico, and is central to this case because there's been a widespread attention and debate because also what's happening with the guy that got arrested in Maryland, who's in El Salvador now. So they're trying to make it like it's both they're doing it everywhere. Now they're going to Milwaukee. They did it, but no. On March 12, 2025, Flores-Ruiz was involved in a violent altercation at his residence at West Village Street in Milwaukee. He struck a male victim 30 times, knocked him to the ground, grabbed his neck. He also hit a female victim during the same incident. These actions led to 3 misdemeanor batteries, each carrying domestic abuse, and he made his initial court appearance March 18th. On April 18th, that's when he came in there and they confronted him. It says that was scheduled for a pretrial conference at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, assisted by the FBI law enforcement officials, had planned to arrest him following his court appearance. Federal agents positioned themselves outside Judge Jugan's courtroom, intended to detain Flores-Ruiz in a public hallway. Upon learning of the agents' presence, Judge Jugan confronted them, questioned the validity of their administrative warrant, and directed them to speak with the chief judge. She accused them of escorting Flores-Ruiz. She is accused of escorting Flores-Ruiz and his attorney through a restricted jury door, allowing to exit the courthouse via a non-public area. Flores-Ruiz was later apprehended by ICE agents. Following his arrest, he was initially detained at Dodge Detention Facility in Wisconsin. He was later transferred to Azuki Facility in Port Washington, and he remains in ICE as of today. Eduardo Flores-Ruiz has been in the United States. He was in here prior to 2013, was deported that year. At the same point, after his 2013 deportation, he illegally re-entered, which is a federal offense under the 8 U.S. Code 1326, illegal re-entry after removal of deportation. So he was deported in 2013. He re-entered. He was living in Milwaukee at the time of his arrest. So yeah, so this is not his first time rodeo.
So he's steady breaking the law.
An abuser. He beats ass. Sorry.
Steady breaking the law.
Yeah, break the law.
And this is who she helping. This is who she put back into our community.
Yeah, because like if in 2013, that act alone with him coming over here, he illegally re-entered.
Right.
That's up to 2 years in prison for just a simple re-entry. And then it's up to 20 years if there were prior criminal convictions. Like this is that's what he was supposed to get.
Right.
And then in March of this year, he beat a man 30 times and then hit a woman, and she's trying to take him out the back door.
The judge, and put him back in our community.
Yeah.
So you know him, Nelly?
I do have a personal knowledge of who he is. I've never met him personally, but I do have a relationship with both of the victims.
Okay. Are they telling? I mean, as the news telling the truth, like what we're hearing? Because I don't watch the news anymore. Like it's kind of hard. I watch it because I have to see like I cannot believe that they lie like this. But if any of the news channels saying anything right?
I mean, they're definitely leaving the victims out of the picture, and you always have to question the why.
Yeah, because they haven't.
You always have to question the why.
Yeah, you're right. Because they haven't said. Like, I didn't know he was beating. I didn't know he beat that man 30 times.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that he was that. And this the second time he been. This is the second time he been over here.
Yeah. So they can say that. See, they're not telling us everything, but they want us to be outraged because Trump is releasing him. And I mean, Trump is supporting him, and they want us to be outraged, but they leaving out key facts, which we know the media lie. But what did the victims tell you? Okay, so you know how you talk. Did they tell you what happened or what?
Like I think
Yeah. They definitely gave me more of an inside scoop in regards to the things that happened leading up. Basically, he arrived to the house, and they have been receiving noise complaints.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the victims, the male, asked him to simply turn down the music. The man did not like it. He went upstairs, started beating the man. And then the female came out. They were already in bed, came out to kind of see what was going on. And she tried to separate or de escalate the situation. And that's when the guy started beating on her as well.
Mm.
And
for
there's
the
a third
music,
victim.
because
And there's a third
they have to turn the
victim.
music down.
Yeah, over music. Over music.
Mm.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. And there's a third victim, and the third victim is also a female. So I wonder why they're also leaving out that second female.
See?
So
Yeah.
two females. So he put his hands on two females and a man, and the judge and the Democrats are protecting him and not the three victims who got them. Okay.
Correct. And yeah, the cops were called. They didn't do anything. They did not do an arrest at the scene, even though they were aware that a child, a minor, was at the house.
So a minor was there too.
They
Yes.
can't even arrest, because see, like, so
They didn't arrest the guy.
we keep trying to tell y'all these illegal aliens cannot get arrested. They're not locking them up. Okay, I just want to say that.
Yeah, no.
Well, I
You're
want to
definitely
know,
on
does
track.
Milwaukee have because this happened in Milwaukee.
In
Does
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee have that executive order too?
Where they can't arrest them. Where they
Yeah.
can't,
Let me do my little
because
research.
it's like illegal aliens. So and so what you were saying, so you were saying that they didn't even say that he even beat another lady. That's not even in there.
Nope, definitely not. And I wonder why they're also leaving the fact that there was minors in the house, that there was no arrest made the day of the scene. The victims had to go on foot to the courthouses, various police departments, to try to at least get an order for the guy to leave. Nothing was done. Nothing was done right then and there. And there's records of everything that occurred and what steps they took. In my perspective, the Milwaukee Police Department, just Milwaukee in a whole, definitely acted negligent.
Well, it says they can work. I say, well, they may cooperate with federal immigration authorities like ICE, particularly when dealing with serious crimes such as terrorism, gang activity, or violent felonies. Their involvement.
But it was a misdemeanor.
That is crazy how you beat three people. But you know what the crazy thing is, I wonder in court when he first was when he made that was his first court appearance, right? Yeah, that was his first court appearance. I wonder, did that come up his previous, because like when I had got arrested at the White House, when I went, they went and got everything. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to know, did they did his priors come up when it came to him already being deported the first time?
Right.
And he committed a crime. He committed a crime the first time too.
Yeah, exactly. The first time too. So she knew this. So all this that he did, because like you said, he committed a crime the first time.
Yeah.
To come back, and then you beating up people, and you still and we keep so these are the people, just like the Van Hollen went over there to El Salvador. Van Hollen went over there to El Salvador. These Democrats, y'all, went over there to El Salvador to help this MS-13 trendy what is it, Trendiagua or one of them? Okay,
he was MS-13.
Oh, okay, MS-13 to help him to look out and make sure he good and get him back here. So these are the criminals. These are the people that they are protecting over the American citizens. And if you notice, they won't even the American citizens that have been killed by illegal aliens, they won't even acknowledge their name. They won't even acknowledge them. The Democrat Party won't even acknowledge them.
You're Nelly, is your family like from, did they migrate here?
Yeah, they migrated here. Luckily, my grandpa took advantage over the whole amnesty during the Ronald Reagan administration. So that's how we got the pathway. But once again, we came to this country. We worked our ass off. I'm 25 years old. I work 12 hours a day. Nothing's handed to us. We have to put in the work, no matter what, and we have to come to this country, follow the rules, and assimilate.
Yeah, you're right.
That's something that this new wave is just declining to do.
See,
what do your parents think about this? Like, about just the whole situation with the like, when did they notice, or even when did you notice, like, this was different, like with the invasion or just the influx of migrants, even in your community where you're saying?
It was amplified when, once again, we were going to those local stores, when we were going to those clubs out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, ambulances everywhere, and we're like, what's going on? And people within the club, oh, well, these Venezuelans, or, these Cubans, or, they're just here looking for problems, or once again, within the gangs. My sister telling us, hey, we're getting a lot of kids that don't understand simple English, or not even the Spanish I speak, because we are bilingual. We speak fluent Spanish as well. She's like, I can't communicate with them. And that's when we started looking into it, and we're like, yeah, something is going on. And also, you guys did mention it's a crime crisis. I also believe it's a resources crisis. I also believe it's a resources crisis for sure, because once again,
because they done stole all their money.
Right. Yeah.
My thing is, immigration has been here, and saying, like, it's always been here, but the fact that they're all over the place like this also is because they have stolen their resources. So that's another issue. So it's bad because there are people that did are here trying to get a better life, and then you have we got the Venezuelan disciples. They done made it. They got the VDs. You got the Trinity Aqua. You got the MS-13, and they are riding. I mean, they're just out here freely, like. GDs, Stones, any of them would never been able to do this.
Right.
Like, Larry Hoover should be home right now. And you might not know who Larry Hoover is, Nelly. You gotta look up. I'm giving you some homework. Go look up Larry Hoover. But like Larry Hoover, you might as well free Larry Hoover. Free Jeff Ford. Like, we need, because at this point, free El Chapo. I mean, if you want to get technical with it, because at this point is getting to the point that there's no one is out here even trying to get these gang people in check, because y'all are doing stuff that y'all should be like under the jail. Y'all should be nowhere in the world.
They should.
That you are, like, y'all are letting, like, this stuff spiral out of control. Like, I don't know. You said your sister, is your sister a school teacher?
No. She's way younger than me.
Okay.
She's 14 years old. Yes.
So she sees even in your schools. So so it's like, I would like to ask that. And I mean, maybe you can give me this answer if you don't have it now. But are they registered in schools out there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How is it, like, is it slowing the classrooms down? Or do they have the resources in schools for them for that? Because she's a suburban, so she's still public school though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do they have the resources for her and for the Venezuelans or you say Cubans too?
Yeah, we're getting, it's a whole mixture of, it's not just one specific demographic, it's everyone around the world. I mean, that's what the globalist agenda is, right? No identity within a country. But yes, it's actually funny you do bring that up, because just last week she was like, sister, can you believe they're only giving us 2 Bosco sticks for lunch? I'm like, what? What is going on?
So they don't even got enough food for lunch for the kids.
No.
And that's crazy that you're saying that, because they're saying in our schools here, the kids ain't eating unless they are the illegals. Like if they don't have if for the food, say you have a discounted lunch, like for some kids. Yeah, so certain kids
don't have the money, the discount.
They don't have the money, and they're not letting those kids eat. Let our kids, the American citizen kids eat, but the illegals can eat. I mean, the illegal children can eat. Like, it's just, as I said, like the resources is bad, and that's why these forensic audits need to happen, and clearly they need to happen in all of the everywhere, because Governor Pritzker,
you see where it's now. See, we told y'all this. You see, it's spreading. It's spreading. We told y'all this was going to happen, and it's no way. Like we were just saying, it's no way. This is crazy, and for the American citizens, it's crazy and scary at the same time. Because for you American citizens out there to allow this to go on, it's scary, because these people work for us. Our representatives work for us. So when we no longer recognize our representatives, we need to hold them accountable, or we should have been held them accountable when we no longer recognize our representatives, and we haven't recognized them in a minute. But you all were getting ready to go put Kamala back in. Could you imagine, Nelly, if Kamala would have got in, what would have happened?
Don't make me imagine this, please.
That's what you would have had 1 million more illegals in your community. We would have had all. Could you imagine the criminals that would have just been in our?
There was 5 million waiting.
5 million at the border waiting to when they announced who won, that she won, because the border opened. So, and they're all in our neighborhoods, all our resources. So can you imagine if this lady would have won, and we got Trump is in office now, and the Democrats are still acting like this, and
he's signing the executive orders every week.
And these judges are crashing out. So can you imagine if we didn't have no type of help like Trump on the federal level, and on the federal level we had Democrats. On a local level, we had Democrats. Can you imagine a state that we would be in?
How do your parents feel? Do they feel safe?
Oh, no, definitely not. They do not feel safe. We are constantly just looking, for ways out.
Yeah.
And we truly, I'm like, why couldn't we live in Florida, where we can have school choice?
All the red states.
At the end of the day, we know what is best for children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know their strengths, we know their weaknesses, and at the end of the day, the public education system, it's not what it used to be. Even when I was there, they catered to them way too much. And once again, going back to our previous conversation, that I believe Zoe was saying, they distract us with this war, with the Palestinians, with the Israelis, with this, that.
That's what they want y'all. They want, because y'all are the future. Let me tell you something.
Right.
I only have patience for y'all. The little babies.
Right, but my generation, we were raised very unique. We were always catered to. We were always babied. Oh, how are you feeling? No, what's really going behind the curtain?
Yeah, tell me, I need to know what's going on. I don't want to fight, because you don't want to fight, because you're not a pronoun fighter.
Exactly.
Just want to know. I need to know what's going on, because I'm 25. Right. Yeah, this is my life. I'm new. Yes, I tell people now, and when I first started this fight, that's what I was telling like my friends and stuff. I'm like, look, I gotta do it for these kids. I said, because there's no way in the world they are going to continue to fight for LGBTQ, she, her, he, him, they, them, and Palestinian and Israel. Like, no, like there's real things. Like you say, you work 12 hours a day. You want like you like work 12 hours a day. Are you making the money you want to make?
Oh, I look at my paycheck. I'm like, what the hell are my taxes?
See?
I'm like, what's going on? And beside that, I mean, I like to, just be decent financially. So in regards to my taxes, I even do extra withholdings every paycheck. Just so I would come out even at the end of the year, and I won't have to pay.
Yeah, at 25, I was lit. I ain't even gonna hold you. I wasn't thinking about, man.
But you see, but Zoe, but you just see how you be saying it's basically proving your point when you always say the kids get it. Like the 25, like the 25-year-olds and so they get it.
Yeah, they get it because it's not making no sense. You understand? They grew up on this.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And like they see there's, like even I'm late to the YouTube, like, oh, you've been on YouTube, but like even when you look at, the TikTok now, I scroll and look at TikTok and listen to them. They know that this is some BS. They know that this is not a racial thing, because they like to push the racial thing too. Like, nah, economically, this is an economic fight. And that's what I keep trying to explain to people. You can't sit here and withhold, like Nelly said, she looks at her check and she sees all these taxes that they're withholding from her. However, you just gave $400 billion to a bunch of illegals. Also, just in the state of Illinois, you spending billions of dollars on health care. You spend billions of dollars on health care on them. When I know people that, my mother the other day, I had to pay. She had a card that she thought that she said, well, no, they're supposed to give me certain kind of money for my meds. I had to pay for it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, we can't even afford checkups. We can't go get
you can't afford checkups, dental, any of those things.
Oh, yeah. American citizens.
You're taking our tax dollar and giving it to people who have not put a dime into this country. And like Nelly says, her grandfather came over here. I met another guy when I first was protesting outside. He said that in order for him, he was so pissed off about this 2023 when I really didn't realize how bad it was, because I was protesting this outside about this legal eminent domain. But he stood out there for me for about an hour, and he was telling me about how he had to enlist in the war. And he said that's why he said he will forever love Muhammad Ali, because that was the Vietnam War. And Muhammad Ali was like, nah, you arrest me. That's why Muhammad Ali went to jail. Yeah. But he said that in order for him to come over here to Mexico and bring his family over here, his wife over here, his 2 children at the time, he had to enlist to the army. And he did that. And then he said he had to wait. He said he had to wait about 2 years, but he was able to bring his wife over here, his 2 kids over here. But he said he had to fight for this country to bring his kids and his wife over here, to now see that he's in his 70s now. He was out there fighting because they were trying to take his property now. That's a whole nother. I didn't even know that. But with the tax thing, he was going to try to get some tax exempt thing. But he was saying the nerve of him trying to come over here, doing everything he did right, pay taxes, but then make the citizenship, all that, to just see that they're all over the place. He said, he says it's a smack in his face.
Yes, and they get free everything when they didn't let people who did the right way come over here the right way. They didn't give them free nothing, everything and all that. So it's a smack in the people's face who did it the right way. Just like it's a smack in the American citizens' face that we're doing everything the right way, and we can't even afford our homes. We can't even afford to pay our bills. We can't even afford to go outside our house because we being taxed to death.
And we always ask ourselves, why are rents increasing? Why are they so expensive? Because property taxes are going through the roof.
Whoa.
Do your family own? Do you guys own your home?
Yes, luckily we do, but we still have to pay taxes.
Oh yeah. I know. A lot of people
They've
are moving.
over 50%. We're paying more than double. So it's like, how are people affording this?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you gotta look at this. You say that they were shooting outside. You got graffiti, you got gangs, you got you've got
legals,
illegals, and gangs, everything, and your family's still paying property taxes for their house, for their home that's probably already paid off. Are you probably paying mortgage anymore? Or just tax?
No, luckily,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but your property value is going down.
Yeah,
because you're dealing with this influx of gangs and people who, it's just crazy. Another thing is crazy too. Like, is there, because like for instance, the Ukrainians, 40,000 Ukrainians came over here because they say it was the war, right? Even though to this day they still haven't shown me enough pictures of war over there for me to see the 40,000. But Mexico, I don't see why they all had to come over here, like why they were fleeing. Venezuela too, like, and your fans from Mexico. What's the problem over there that they all had to come over here?
Well, it's actually funny you actually bring up the Venezuelans. I actually visited Spain not too long ago. I went to Florence and Madrid.
Okay.
Oh my, Florence, such a beautiful country. Italy, beautiful, right? When you're mostly in the northern region of Italy. Once you get down to the southern region, obviously you have some migrants there. We went into Madrid. I'm like, am I in downtown Chicago? What's going on here? I did not see a single Spaniard. It was insane. We get into a taxi because we were going to go have this tour. And the taxi driver asks us, my parents and I and my sister, where are you guys from? And we're like, oh, we're from America, but we're Mexicans. And he was like, oh, he's like, from what part of America are you guys? And we told him we were from the Chicago region. And he was like, if you guys think that you guys have it bad, Madrid is way worse. And Chicago is only going to keep on getting worse.
Yeah.
He's like, the difference is that in Madrid, they kind of have the good Venezuelans or the good migrants and the bad migrants. You guys are getting the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're literally signing where they can't go back home.
Yes.
I'm like, what's going on? And it wasn't just one taxi driver. It was 3 other taxi drivers that told us the same thing.
Yeah, we got
this
the
was
worst
an agenda.
of the worst.
We got the worst of the worst.
Agenda. We weren't supposed to wake up. These, honestly, Nelly, you gotta look up. I want you to look up too. So we'll give you some homework now. Jeff Ford, Larry Over, it's over to the side. But I really want you to look up Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson warned us of this. I was a baby, so it's not me. This is for the elders who did not do their job. But Dr. Claude Anderson, my man Dick Gregory, Barbara Jordan, a few other people were talking about this in the 90s, the early 90s, in the early 2000s, about the influx of the migrants, the illegals going to come over here, and these are our replacements. And because of the census going down, and then they mess with that census a lot because they try to say that it wasn't, it's not enough of us, but it was enough of us, but for voting. So that's why the Democrats are fighting so hard for them not to be like they can vote, like people can vote without ID, because they're trying to continue to keep them in power, because this was something that they were going to do all along. They do this thing with 90% of the vote for the Democrats are Black Americans, and they were so comfortable thinking that because we're not politically aligned, which we do need to be politically aligned. Like, you need to get into politics. Your sister needs to get into politics. You need to start going down. So you need to be figuring out when your city council meetings is. It's probably in the evening time, which is good for you if you're not working in the evening time. You need to start figuring out who your city council person is, because that's your home. That's your house. You know, that's your generational wealth. And you can't let anybody come in who does not care about America. Because right now, we're dealing with a bunch of people who are in office who have a vendetta against America.
Hence the squad, right?
Yeah. And that's why, and it's going to be your generation and your sister's generation to start getting into politics. And you don't need a political science degree. You don't need all of that. You need some critical thinking skills, some common sense, and know how to count. And that's real talk. And what and you really and start looking at these policies. Start looking at your budget that's there. You need to go look at and the budgets are easy. Just go on your website, the displaying website or whatever. Get your budget, and just when you're not doing anything, just look at just to see how much money was allocated in displays for this migrant crisis that y'all got in there, or that illegal invasion. And it may not have been that much, but honestly, nobody should have taken any money, because it was not going to be enough. It wasn't going to be enough to take care of any of these people. And that's just it just wasn't. The federal government, they thought that racist Joe Biden was going to continue to send money, like how they were sending all that money for COVID. All this money for COVID was coming, because the crisis for COVID was just so bad. So they kept sending all this money, but they were stealing all that money. So they thought they was going to do the same thing with COVID, and then they thought that he was going to do the same thing when he was sending all that money to Ukraine, and then he was sending all that money to Israel. So they thought, oh, bet they're going to do the same thing with this illegal immigration crisis with the sanctuary cities. And because it didn't work like that, because he gave them a one-time payment of $52 million for the city of Chicago. I don't know for the state of Illinois. I'm not sure, but it backfired. So now, because they done stole all this money, and now they done got the illegals everywhere that they're not going to go back. Why would they go back? Why? Right. You understand what I'm saying? So then you have the president, who we all majority, I think, like he won by a landslide. Everybody put him in office to do exactly what we want him to do, and he's showing us that he's doing it. But every day he signs an executive order, here comes a judge stopping the executive order, and that's not fair. So we're gonna have, in order for us,
Democrats,
Democrats, in order to really make a change, you have to get in the field, Nelly.
Yeah,
in the field in displays, and I'm pretty sure you're not the only one that feels your way, but you may not know where to start. And I don't mind helping you. Danny don't mind helping you. I don't mind pulling up to help you go to one of them city council meetings and you speak out. But if you can, but they're going to continue to do this if we don't start speaking out. The more people start speaking out, you got the mic, and the mic is at that city council meeting in displaying. And I'll come with you. We'll figure out a date. Me and Danny will pull up, because you need to be active, because that's the only way that the Democrats are going to have to, that it's going to get through their head that ain't nobody is okay with this. No one is okay with this. This is not normal. It's not normal at all. There's nothing that you can say to make it seem normal. It's not nothing that you can try to convince us that it's normal. It's not normal. It's not normal at all. Committing crimes all day and not getting locked up is not normal. They got cars. They can't drive. They've learned now to they be hitting people and running, or they just abruptly stop their car to get a car crash. Knowing that that State Farm and them are gonna start going up, and then eventually they're gonna do exactly what they were doing with them Kias. For a minute, when all them Kias was getting stolen, State Farm and them wouldn't even if your car was a Kia and it was getting stolen in Chicago, they weren't even paying out because there's so many. And it's gonna be the same if we get these accidents with because they're doing it and they're learning how to do it. Like it's crazy how they're they stammers. They are stammering and they stammer and act like they don't know what they're doing.
They might not assimilate culturally, but they definitely understand how to scam the system.
Yes.
Which that's even scarier.
Yeah.
I said it all the time. I said it's like somebody called up, like as soon as they said, "Hey, you can come over now." You know what I'm saying? I got you. I'm gonna hook you up. Go to the AIDS office. You're gonna talk to Rosa. Rosa gonna make sure you got the hookup. And then they keep going and they keep going, but then let my mom go in there and they say, "Oh, we only give you $100. We can't give you no more because if we give you any more money for food, even though you're 76 years old, we're gonna have to take your Social Security retirement. You only can have one or the other, but then you're giving them $5,000 unlimited cash. $5,000 food stamps. They at Walmart, they balled out in Walmart. In front of our faces, in front of everybody's faces, and we couldn't say. And if you say anything, have dignity. You gotta have dignity. Oh, you're racist.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct. And I don't understand anybody who okay with this. Anybody who okay with this need to go to another country. Yeah. I don't care if you was born here in America. You need to have your butt up out of here.
Carter, but even with me, I'm from Mexican descent. If I go to Mexico and try to ask for all these resources, I'm not getting anything.
You see what I'm saying? You can't even go to your own. Right.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything. They're going to be like, go back home and look for resources on your own back to your country.
In your own country. Exactly.
And I respect that.
Yeah, you respect that. That's why I said people who got a problem with this, even if you're American, even if you are born and raised here, whatever, go to another country if y'all got a problem with America first. Because this is like you said, this is not normal. We are not going to accept it. And it's just not because, and this is how dumb we are. They won't even put them in their neighborhood. They know these are criminals. When Trump told us that they're emptying their jails, their same asylums and things like that, and they are letting the worst of the worst over here and telling them they can't come back, he was not lying. We know this. And these are the people that want us to accept in our community around our kids, our family, and things like that. They won't put them in their community, but they want to put them in ours. And think we supposed to accept this garbage. This is crazy.
Yeah, the rate of people, like Rivers Casino, like I'm saying this because Des Plaines is right, is in Des Plaines. Rivers Casino had the highest amount of robberies for a while, to the point like they had police having to take people to their cars because the illegals were stealing from them.
I had that similar experience when I went to the casino. I actually used to frequent there. We just stopped going. It was a complete mess. I'm like, I don't recognize this place.
Yeah.
I simply do not recognize this place. No.
So there's no shelters. You guys have there's no shelters.
Well, the hotel was just torn down.
Just torn down, but nothing right now.
We haven't seen any at the moment.
Okay.
Right. But what we've from firsthand experience, we've heard that, or we've actually experienced the fact that they are getting housing allowances. Yeah.
Housing allowance.
Yeah. Yes, my aunt, she works in a factory. She tells me that they literally brag because they have a valid Social Security, but once again, they understand the taxing scam, so they'd rather work with a fake social. Wait, so not only are you here, not only did we give you the privilege to obtain a work permit, but you decided to just disregard that, work with a fake work permit so you can evade taxes.
See?
And then on top of that, you're getting all these benefits from the state. You're getting housing, you're getting a car, you're getting business loans. How does that make sense?
Of our tax dollars. Of our tax dollars.
Yep. And my mom's property taxes are going through the roof.
Yes.
I keep on increasing them.
Yes.
Yep.
And this idiot Brandon Johnson tried to propose another 300 million property taxes on the citizens. You see what I'm saying? So you see what they're doing to the American citizens and how they're accommodating the illegal aliens and how they're taking our resources. Like you said, getting business loans. And then you see illegal aliens, like you said, not only are you all coming over here getting free everything, you scamming too at that too. So now you don't even want to pay
yeah, these are real scammers. These are real PP people. Now and not all these PPP loan people who are going to jail have a lawsuit. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah,
you got a lawsuit. There's no way in the world you're going to arrest me on a PPP loan scam when the biggest scam is this illegal immigration Ponzi scheme that we are funding with our own tax dollars, but we can't get no services.
Right.
We can't get no services. We can't get no help. If we have a real issue, like I have a real issue, the city of Chicago unlawfully demolished my family's building. My mother couldn't get no help.
Right.
No help. But here comes someone that came from the border and
broke the law
and got a house. The family stays together. The whole thing, gotta make sure to keep the family together, even though
they broke the law.
Jim Crow, Joe Biden, and Bill Clinton in '94 decided the '94 crime bill, you had to keep the black man out of the house. But at least fast forward to 2024, they can stay. The whole family can stay in the house. But they will. On this time, they just displace you. They just take you. No, you leave. We give them this, and then we pay for the we pay $9,000 in rental assistance, and we'll give you food, and we'll give you cash assistance so you can ball out. Ask no questions how you spend it either, because if you learn that too, you get $5,000 in cash assistance from social services, and they're not asking you how you spending it either. Fentanyl crisis, fentanyl crisis is up to here. Can't get no help.
Right, but it comes from the top and goes to the cartel somehow.
Yeah, they running a criminal organization in our face, and nobody. And we can talk about it all we want. They choose to ignore us, and then when we have a president that we put in office to take care of this issue, I don't care about a tariff. I don't care if y'all Timu and y'all what's the other one? Fashion Nova. I don't care if they're charging y'all $300 tariffs. I don't care. Get a sewing machine and sew your own clothes. We are under attack. We are under attack. Like, we are literally, like, at this point, Trump, and this real talk, because I know one of your people be watching our stuff, man. Trump, martial law. I'm ready for martial law, because at this point, you're doing everything to try to get Tom home and everything, Homeland Security, to come get these people up out of here, and you can't, and there's no help. You can't. And they're calling you all types of stuff. You're racist. You want to be a dictator. You're this. You're that.
They're fighting him. They're fighting him. Judges are fighting him. Judges are going against him. You see what I'm saying? This is how bad it is. Our media is a propaganda machine. That's the start of communists right there. That's, if y'all really want to really know how Hitler took over, this is how he did it. He started with the media pushing propaganda, because if we don't have a media that's telling the truth to the people, and they're pushing lies to us, and we don't know what to believe. And they're pushing they're telling they're telling a story, and they're leaving out the important parts to get you to critical think and say, oh, okay, this and that.
These ain't got no critical thinking.
Yeah, so these are so this is the start of it, y'all. They telling you Trump. But this Democrat Party, this is the start of taking our country, taking our rights. They tried to censor us. They tried to they push propaganda. The whole media should be locked up because they are an enemy of the people of the United States. The media should be locked up. The Democrat Party should be locked up.
Yeah.
The Republicans who went along with this garbage should be locked up. Yeah. And these judges and all the Democrats who want to break the law and crash out for these people and go against the American people, they should be locked up too. And if we don't listen, y'all, President Trump can't do all this by himself. The only reason why he's able to do more this term is because a lot more of the American people eyes are open, and we're backing him. So he's able to get a lot of stuff done that he wasn't able to do because we know the media is a lie, and we know all this now. But he still need our help because, like Zoe, we had just said. How are you gonna sit up there and say? How are you gonna sit there and ask us, man? It's what is Tom? Where's Tom Homan at? And so you think he's doing enough? And you think this and they're doing enough? President Trump doing enough and things like that? Do y'all see how they fighting this man every step of the way? Everything this man did. He need our help because we, the people of Chicago, should be on Brandon Johnson or you and display on their neck. We should not. Trump shouldn't even have to fight. We should be fighting him of what he's doing to us. That's how crazy we are. We won't even fight for ourselves. We should be fighting this fight. We should be saying, listen, Brandon Johnson, you can't walk nowhere in Chicago and be cool. You're not welcome nowhere in Chicago. He should feel it, he should know it, and we should say, well, anytime he say anything about illegals, well, we're gonna do this and we're not going to back down and stuff like that. But every time he say that, the Chicago citizens should be on his butt. He should be scared to say words like that. He should be scared to use words like that because he should know we not having it. This is how our elected officials have gotten. This is what they're doing to. This is how they're getting us. Where the Democrat Party has gotten us to the point where we allow anything, and we go.
And I do want to say this too, that there are a significant amount of Hispanic leaders who are against illegal immigration.
Yes,
Lionel Sosa, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and Cesar Chavez. You know who Cesar Chavez is, Nelly?
Yes, my idol. Even though he's a socialist, but that man had it right.
Yeah.
He was aware.
I mean, so it's not,
you couldn't flood the market with cheap labor. He was aware.
Mm.
And that's what's going on right now.
Say it again.
Chavez was aware that you just couldn't flood the market with cheap labor.
Mm.
It was it affects the American worker.
See?
It's simple economics as well.
It's simple.
Yeah. And that's what this civil rights, I'm gonna call it the millennial and Gen Z movement. Because Nelly, I tell Daddy all the time. Yeah. Listen, I'm not arguing with these older niggas. I said it's the kids. Like, the kids know it. They get it. They understand because it's an economic. It's not about a color. It's not about race. It's economics. It does not make no sense. It's not adding up. You want me, like I said, you want me to slave at the 8? Like they get mad. They get mad when Gen Z texts like, I'm not going into work today.
Right.
No, I'm having a mental health day. And my thing is, they think that's crazy. And I'm like, nah, they choosing themselves first. Like, that's the problem. Y'all not choosing yourselves first. And then y'all are paying big taxes into this corrupt economy and government that when you need anything from this same government, they don't have nothing to give you, but they just welcome millions of people here that don't. I mean, to the point I had to that, man, Uber Eats.
Nowadays,
nobody speaks English.
Yep.
That's what I was gonna say. Yep.
Y'all gotta work with me. Y'all gotta at least know outside. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta say, hey, Uber delivery, we outside. Like, at least give me that. Y'all don't. Today, this man wanted me to put he wanted me to fill out everything. I had to give him my ID. He wanted me to fill it out.
No. But once again, cheap labor.
Amazon
is doing the same thing. Amazon Flex. Yes. Amazon Flex is doing the same thing. They're paying pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. So what do you think? So from a Gen Z perspective, what do you think, Nelly? What do you think about what President Trump has done? This is his 100th day today. Today was his 100th day. So how do you think he's doing as the president?
I am content with everything that he's doing, from the tariffs. I know a lot of people, it's a hard concept to grasp onto, but long term, I totally understand what he's doing.
Yeah.
Actually, I was waiting for under the Biden administration. I wasn't pumping any money to the stock market because I'm like, this is way too inflated. So when the market went down, I'm like, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity. Yes. So economically, I'm fine. I'll rather buy American-made products. It's not really going to affect the price. In regards to immigration, I'm content, but there definitely does have, and I know it's just the 100th day, but we definitely do have to come up with some sort of comprehensive immigration reform. I know there's a lot of work to do with immigration, but I mean, we're just getting started. With all the executive orders from, just boys being out of girls' sports. Amazing. Yeah, my sister really wasn't joining any sports over the same reason. Yeah. A lot of confused kids being in the wrong sports, and it's definitely a liability where we weren't willing to take. Pretty content with what's going on, and I know there's definitely more work to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm content. Yeah. But it's funny how we looking at the Democrat, like he said, the mask is off. They showing us who they are, and they're showing us who's important to them. And it's not the American citizens.
And policies, something that Danielle always brings up, and she always says is a Democrat policy. So regardless of, and I had to understand that too. Like, even when I go back, when I rewind from when I was first fighting, I was like, damn, maybe they can't help, because what Danielle said, it's Democratic policies. This is their policy. Regardless of how bad it is, this is what they're gonna ride on. And and some things need to change. It's been 60 years since the Civil Rights Act, was put in place. And I remember, before I even decided to, strategically vote for Trump, because my goal was that I wanted a Black agenda for both parties. For both parties, I wanted a Black agenda, because I felt like that the Democratic Party owed my mom, the boomers, that my mom's a boomer, owed Black America an agenda and that they would follow, because for some reason we can't get any bills, any legislation that is specifically for us, and without without somebody trying to make it seem like it's being racist if they give us something that specifically. But clearly, if you look at our communities, they're under resourced, they're underfunded. If you look at if you're saying that that it's a lot of gang violence, you say there's a lot of black on black crime, a lot of shooting, a lot of this. Okay, well, if we have all this that the Democrats fight on all the time so they can get all this money and keep saying that we're oppressed, then why are you not fixing our communities? Because I'm not oppressed, but I'm irritated that you guys keep using us and the black and brown, you lump us together with this black and brown, but then when I'm looking downtown at city council and I'm watching all the brown making sure that they get everything, but when it comes to our black leadership, we're not getting anything. But then even when you look at the brown down there, they're only taking care of the progressives that are with their corrupt agenda. So the other, so the brown that's moderate, that's not with that BS, just like the blacks that aren't with that BS, that are moderate or have common sense, then we're the enemy. So I think that it has to come to, honestly, it's going to have to take people like yourself, Nelly, to come out, to do your TikToks, to go to city council meetings. I'm trying to tell you, city council meetings kind of lit, man. It's kind of a vibe. It's kind of a vibe. I ain't gonna hold you. It's kind of a vibe, and you can get great content, but you also can get great information, and you also can let your city council know what's going on, because maybe if you do go there, and what was a good thing about your city council meetings being in the evening, your sister can come too. And your sister can explain what she's seeing as well. And maybe, and they should, because any person, I know that if I saw you guys, I would try to see if I can address it. I'm not even saying try. You can't. I don't care. I believe that you can address any of these concerns. I can't. When these politicians say their hands are tied, then you need to get out of office, because you are at the top. Like, it ain't you're at the top. We voted you in for these stuff. So when you say my hands are tied, that makes no sense to me. I don't even. Yeah, so you need to get out. Make sure that you release your hands and walk the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So but I think that you do need to get in. Even if you don't want to get in politics, you need to get engaged in politics. You need to see what's going on. You know what's going on.
You know what the irony is?
Huh?
I majored in political science, minor in economics.
Oh, okay.
See, that's
I said you don't need one.
Yes.
That's great. So you need to. It's your time, because I'm trying to tell you, you gotta think of your sister. She's 14. She's 9 years younger than you. You know what I'm saying? You have to think about her. You have to think about your children if you have children. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta think about your parents when they get older, because I'm trying to tell you, the seniors having it bad too. It's like after they get a certain age, they put them in a nursing home, and that's it. You understand? Like, it's no family. We just got to bring back the family. We got to bring back common sense. We got to bring back traditions. We got to bring back common sense, and we have to bring back we got to stand. The whole thing, stand your ground. I know that's for the shooting thing, but we got to stand our ground. This you were born here too. This your country too, Nelly. You know what I'm saying? Your grandfather, is your grandfather still alive?
No, he passed away.
Yeah, your grandfather is right there. Is right next to probably Dick Gregory and Cesar Chavez and all them. Like, fight. And this is a fight that's okay. This is a fight that's warranted. This is a fight that's needed. And I call this the final movement. This is the moment of, don't you ever play with Illinois ever again. And the state of Illinois, and the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago, and Cook County, because they're the only ones that's holding it from being red, they need a lesson. And the lesson that they need to be taught is that this state can flip red.
Yeah.
And it can flip red when we're not happy with what's going on right now. And we're not happy with the Democratic Party. And this is a one-party system that's definitely in the city of Chicago and Cook County. It may be a few, and even in the state of Illinois, for real, but it could be a few that's sprinkled around, but it's not enough to make the noise that needs to be made. And that has to come from people that is my age, Nelly, and your age group.
I appreciate the inspiration for sure. Thank you. Yes.
All right.
We're in this together.
All hands on deck.
Yep. All hands on deck.
So any last words?
One last thing, actually, in regards to the guy that was recently deported to El Salvador, Kilmar Obrego Garcia.
Yeah.
I somewhat did want to shed a light on this because my mom went through the process. It took her nearly 6 years to become a legal resident. So, you know how they posted the tattoos, the knuckle tattoos, right? With the marijuana leaf, the smiley face. Yeah, my mom was like, are you kidding me? They literally stripped me in the doctor's office to see if I had any tattoos. So you're telling me all these criminals with face tattoos were let in? That's just, no, the system is broken.
Yes, ain't that something?
The system has to be fixed.
Wait, can you say that one more time?
Yes, so my mom went through the process legally. It took her approximately 6 years. When she was about to get her green card, she had to go into a doctor's office, right, for the physical.
Right.
One of the exams, she had to literally strip naked so they can examine her body to see if she had any tattoos. And if she had I'm sorry?
Okay, just to make sure she didn't have any tattoos, like gang tattoos, basically.
Any tattoos. And if you do have tattoos, then you have to explain, all right, what is the nature of this tattoo? When did you get it? You have to give them a history on your tattoos. So you're telling me this guy with all these tattoos was let in, no problems?
And see, that's the problem. This is the problem. You think about this. Think about not only are they slapping us in the face, Black America. Look how they doing the Hispanic community. How dare you make me go through all of this with the money I had to spend, the time, everything I had to do. Imagine that. You doing all of this just to let somebody else come in. 22 million more people come in, and they look. I gotta go through all this. I gotta get proper.
Do you think how humiliating that was for her to have to get naked?
That's extremely,
yeah.
Never been locked up, never been arrested, any of that. And you know what the art, like, you know what the hypocrisy of that is to me is that all, like, they're fighting for, they're all saying these are asylum seekers and they're here for a better life and all of those things, and they say all that, but then they take it. So, but don't, like, that's okay. We have to understand and have dignity. But then here's someone 6 years trying to, get her citizenship and all that, and been doing everything right, haven't gotten in trouble, raising her family, married, have everything, got the house, got the got the life, got the kids, all that stuff. But let me, you got to strip down to make sure you ain't got no tattoos. And if you do got tattoos, you got to explain those tattoos. Like, come on, man, like she committed a crime.
Yeah. But that's the way. But Mom, now when you think about it, though, so that's the way it should be done. Like,
that's the way it should be done.
That's the way it should be done.
No exceptions.
Yeah, that's the way it should be done. Because you talking about coming over to a country that don't know you, and yeah, this is the land of the free. This is when you got
stripping down naked, looking for some tattoos.
Well, they probably did that. Well, that's probably back a little bit before, and they probably did that because they probably don't want nobody with gang affiliation ties to come over here. We already got problems.
I don't agree with that one.
My mom did not have
I don't
any
agree with
issue
that
doing
one.
it. But then
But I
when
hear you.
she saw all these migrants coming in with face tattoos, she's like, wait, what? I
That's
literally had
when
to
I have a
strip down.
problem.
These
Yeah,
guys, she's like, I did not have an issue because I don't have nothing to hide.
right,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
But not to see people come here with all of that too. That's why that's why I'm saying
It's
it's
on the,
it's just a slap in the face for everybody.
For
They
everyone.
just for everyone. They just act the fool. Look, they showed they butts. The Democrats showed they with their the ASS. They showed they butts this time around. Yes, they did with everybody.
Now we have
well,
some
I
work to do
think
for the midterms.
I feel like your mom got a lawsuit, man. Cause ain't no way you ain't gonna check me and humiliate me, and then you got El Chapo Jr. that they keep going to
Right,
go visit over there to make sure he okay and he's eating well,
right,
because
right, right.
because they having him because he's there having this conversation with him. He's saying, if you don't get me out of here, I'm telling you right now,
Right.
I'm gonna fuck up Maryland. Yeah,
It's going
that
to be
nigga
a
run. Yeah,
problem.
he runs. Yeah, that nigga he's that nigga's like he probably like lieutenant. He like probably like third or fourth lieutenant in MS-13. That's why they keep checking on him. Okay, I got you. I'm gonna get you out of here.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right,
Trump
right.
knew what he was doing.
Trump knew
So
exactly what's going
yeah.
on.
Well, that's good to know though, because I did not know that. But I do feel like she got a lawsuit, because ain't no way in the world you ain't gonna check my body.
And then I see a whole person with face tattoos.
And,
Just
with
I'm looking
three
like,
he beat
teardrops.
his wife too.
right, I'm
They
looking
be
like,
beating their wives. I don't know
Right.
what's going on.
Yep.
There's a lot going on. Okay, well, Nelly,
so
I
let's
enjoyed this
just recap.
conversation.
So Nelly just told us that the guy who what's his name? The
Eduardo. Wait, which one? MS-13 dude?
No,
No.
Or
The
Eduardo?
Milwaukee guy.
yeah.
Eduardo.
I'm sorry,
Eduardo.
Eduardo. Okay, well, Eduardo, she just said that she told us what he did. So the media want us to believe that these are people who just are law-abiding citizens. They're just coming over here because they just want a better life and they don't want to do no harm to nobody and things like that. These are so the media's trying to make us think that. And like you said, so far we got a person who was in the game that President Trump took back to El Salvador, which is his country, and we got a person who is beaten up or who, wait a minute, was deported in 13 or whatever, what was that, 13?
Yeah, 2013.
He was deported, came back over here, so he should have really been in jail, and now came back over here, and he beating up women, and men because they
and
asked him
evaded
about
paying
Because
taxes
they asked him to turn
because
the
he
music
was
down.
only begging for cash jobs. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, see, only begging
He
for
knew
credit.
what he was doing.
Yes.
And on top of that, evading taxes because he was
Yes.
just begging for
Yeah,
work
they
that
always
paid him
I'm tell
cash.
you one thing they're gonna do is evade a tax. And Wesley Snipes, they done locked Wesley Snipes up and everybody
all
else
of
for
our
taxes.
American citizens.
It's just crazy. It's so many lawsuits.
Yes,
It's
they're
so
American
many. If I
citizens.
could take
We
every
have.
lawsuit, I would, man. Like even with your mom got a lawsuit. Ain't nowhere in the world you going to do that. You going to do that, but then you got my man, because it's all over. It's everywhere out here, to the point that even Michael Shanahan had to, like, he was even I'm glad they didn't get him, take him off of the but he even had to say like isn't he a gang member? Like, is he, no. He asked, like, was he alive? Like, is it because they were trying to say that he wasn't alive? Because they were gonna go with that narrative too. Like the Republicans killed him. And that's why they're not showing him or anything like that. And so I think Michael Shanahan like asked, it wasn't on the on the questions, but asking like, is he alive? And she like yes, he is. Yeah. Because don't try to sit here and try to say like Trump and them that killed him.
Yeah. So we know he's a criminal. So we know. So now we know for sure. Well, I knew it for sure. So now we know it for sure that the Democrats are aiding and abetting criminals, and they're going all out to protect illegal aliens over the American citizens. So that's basically what I got from what you just told me, period,
Yeah.
from this conversation.
Well, that, yeah. So I hope this is not our first time. I hope that you check in with us and get involved, Nelly. Like I say,
I'll definitely keep in touch.
I rock with the Gen Zers. You don't got no problems with me, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, because y'all are y'all only ones that got common sense and critical thinking skills out here. According to
don't
the
give
rest.
us too much credit.
No, I know still some pronoun fighters out here, and some people that's fighting for the wrong, but that's because they're getting, everybody's catching, a lot of people are catching on, and
Slowly
I think that more people will catch on when it's Rico time. Rico time is coming. Okay, a lot of these people are going to prison and jail, Nelly. A lot of these politicians, a lot of these NGOs, Red Roof Inman, a lot of these people are going to jail because they stole so much money so fast, and they really thought that people were not going to push back. But Illinois pushed back, especially the city of Chicago pushed back because the city of Chicago was the third largest city, the third largest blue city, but also a city that is very much segregated still in this time and day, but not in a racial way. It's just everybody like to do their own thing. It's just like when you at school, you got your friends. You had your friends that you only hung with at school. You understand? But if it was a science project and y'all had to, you had to be with different people in your class, y'all had to get that A. It could be with the most weirdest people that you'll never talk to ever, but y'all got to get this A. That's how I felt like this happened with this migrant crisis. Like the illegal invasion, it just came, everybody from every pocket of New Chicago start coming down to city council. Then people in the suburbs start going down to their city council, going off because it was getting too crazy. This is getting weird. So I feel like it has to continue. Consistency is key. So getting down there, getting involved, that's the best thing that I can say when it comes to make awareness of what's happening in Des Plaines, because the only thing I really knew about Des Plaines was about they were getting robbed left and right at the rivers, and then they were all at the O'Hare airport. So the other stuff that you told me that was new, and I'm pretty sure is new to all of our viewers. So,
yes, it was a pleasure. Definitely bringing you guys into the Suburban Chronicles.
Yes. All right. Well, you have our information. Please stay in touch. And if you want to, I'm serious about pulling up with you to one of the meetings, so.
I'll definitely take you up on that. Thank you both so much for all the work you guys are putting in. Please keep it up.
Right. Thank you so much for coming on, Nelly.
Keep it up, of course. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.